Hello everybody, I hope you're having a great day, or at least an interesting one. So today I built the exterior of a haunted house in The Sims 4. I wanted to kind of create it as kind of an ode to Halloween in October, and I haven't really built a lot of haunted houses before, and so I wanted to kind of see what I can do. And it was also really difficult because I don't have the vampire stuff pack, and I also don't have spooky stuff. And those packs are really good if you want to create something like this. It's just I usually don't, and so they were just never really worth my money to me. But besides that, I wanted to kind of take that as more of a challenge and really kind of create a house that has a lot of creepy and spooky elements without as much detail that would have usually came with the vampire or spooky stuff kit or those packs. Something that you can do with any of my builds actually is you can download them and you can fix them, you can delete everything. I really don't mind, and it's really cool that in the game you can kind of do that, and so I'm completely fine if you want to add, things from spooky stuff or things from vampire stuff and just kind of make it your own build. Anyway, I don't think this house, at least the exterior, is that scary. I tried to work a little bit more on the interior in the second part to make it a bit more creepy, but I added a bunch of lot traits to make living in here actually very difficult. And if you want to live in this house, then I recommend either getting rid of the lot traits or living with them and being aware of the challenges. So the lot traits that I added are mean vibe, so Sims are more tense with like mischievous interactions, gnomes, which things break, and penny pixels, which you can find loose change around the house. Maybe is like from previous owners and things like that. I thought that'd be kind of a cool thing to add with all of the negative things, just to make there a little bit more of an advantage while playing. And then the lot challenges, which are new, I added spooky, creepy, crawlies, gremlins, and cursed. And so I really kind of made this place as like creepy as possible so that things actually in the game would change it. And I think it definitely would be a challenge to live in this house and to be around and fix it up. And even if you did fix it up and like did like a fake renovation for it, there'd still probably be all these traits. And so it'd be I really liked that idea. And that's why I wanted to keep all these difficult challenges and traits. Even though this is a really big house, it's basically like a mansion. It's only 3 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms because I wanted to include a lot of other kind of older architectural things. Like there's like for example, I would have included like a billiards room if we had like one of those type of tables and those type of things, which are kind of more for like the richer people back then, kind of like thinking in like Clue and things like that. And so there aren't as many rooms as I would like there to be, but I still think that I did a pretty good job with what I did. So there are 3 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and so they're downstairs. It's the kitchen, living room. There's like a whole guest kind of entertainment area. There's 2 bathrooms, like a study / like family living area, and also a formal dining room. And then upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and there's also a bunch of pretty balconies and a lot of great kind of details that I wanted to add to kind of hint toward this house being older. I added dormers and like a lot of like Tudor-style homes that came with Get Together, and I kind of wanted to incorporate a lot of these details and make the house definitely look older, It was actually interesting because after I finished this, I was actually really proud of this build when I first finished it, and I still kind of am, but I wanted to show it to my mom because I usually show her my builds when I'm done with them, and she said that it doesn't look scary because it's too pretty, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense because it definitely has like scary elements to it. Like I added like a creepy fountain and like dead plants. It's just that it looks too pretty and too organized, and we got into this huge not huge, I guess, this little argument, and like we're like teasing each other like about old vintage houses and that type of like creepy atmosphere and houses that are creepy versus ones that aren't. And it was really funny, to be fair, about how we were just like bickering about it. because me and her are really interested in interior design. We really love it, and so she has to kind of put opinions and stuff. And I was expecting her to be like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool. It's so creepy," and she wasn't. And I'm like, "What? Like this house is terrifying, you know?" And so because of this, I ended up showing it to my dad and my brother, and my dad said that it was scary and that he wouldn't want to like be in front of it, and he liked the story that I was doing and he thought that it was really creepy. And my brother said that it's not creepy because there was like a house that was pretty close to us that looked like this, and it wasn't that spooky to him. And I was just like, so I don't know, you guys can put in the comments if you actually think this house is scary or not, because I think it's pretty, but I just don't think that it's, I don't know, I don't know if it's creepy or just pretty, I don't know. My mom said that it looked new, and I'm like, so I don't know, if you want me to redo this house and maybe make it more informal and like use references and stuff, which I don't usually do, then you guys can totally tell me, because I don't know, because this is just, I got really stumped when I made this, because I was like, huh? What do you mean it's new and formal and pretty? No, it's not. It's terrifying. But at the end, even though it is kind of pretty, it kind of alludes to the story that I was going for. And the story that I was going for was that this house, like a bunch of people tried to like move in and renovate it and fix it up. Like new couples, and then they all like leave, but they realize that it's not worth it. And so I guess maybe the illusion that it is pretty and it has all these beautiful features and balconies and space, maybe that just makes it more creepy, that it's like enticing, I guess, to work on, and it's such potential that makes it even more creepy to kind of lure people in, you know? On the outside, I went for a very black and red color scheme. I did just think about painting the whole house black, and similar to like the goth house, but I wanted to kind of incorporate some red elements just so I thought it looked cool, so I put it like on the interior of some of the walls and just kind of add accents of red, because I didn't want it to look flat and I didn't want it to look boring. I still wanted it to look really creepy, but in like a more grand type way. I added all these dead plants everywhere and like really kind of creepy things from Jungle Adventure that look like they're poisonous. I wanted to add cow plants, but I didn't want to take things off the gallery that weren't mine, because I know I'd forget to credit them. But I would totally recommend you guys do that, and I might make a bunch of like random stuff like debug cars and stuff, that because I always, something that you can do is you can go through debug and you can look at like pictures or plants, and you can put them into your build to make them more functional instead of having to start all over again. And I usually do that, but just because this is in a YouTube video, I didn't want to just do that and then take credit for someone else's work without crediting them properly, because I knew I wasn't able to do that, you know? But I might do that in the future and work on it, so if you do want me to make more detailed builds, then I'll definitely look into it. This house is also very interesting because I added dormers, and I don't think I put anything in them when I actually furnished this, but if you want to include some type of story, you can add a ladder to it and have like a little, like, maybe like a secret nursery, or that was like abandoned, or something creepy like that. I just didn't do it because I honestly forgot when I was building this, so I just built it the other day, so I don't know. I didn't upload it to the gallery yet, so maybe I can go back and fix it, but I don't see myself doing that, sorry. But I also included the floor plan, and I don't usually include the floor plan on my builds. I usually cut it out because my builds are usually very long, because I don't know, I like to include a lot of detail, and I'm not that good at talking and doing voiceovers yet, and so I like to keep my videos at least like in the 20-minute range and nothing more than 30 minutes or 30 minutes, because I just don't think I can do that yet, but maybe in the future I'll do longer builds when I'm more used to doing this. I also made this build on the Goth family lot, and so if it may look familiar, then that's what it is, because I love the Goth family household. I know it's a kind of a weird one, but I always think it's so unique, and sometimes base game houses or EA builds can all kind of look the same. I do think that the Goth family household, it looks so different, and the house is so like grand and gothic, and it's like a gothic farmhouse style, and I just think it's really cool. Like, of course there are little mistakes here and there that are a bit odd about the house, but I think it kind of adds to the fact that it's old and not everybody knows how to furnish their house, and I think that EA and Sims 4 townies definitely are those type of people that just don't know how to furnish their house. I don't know. I might do renovations and stuff of older townies' homes, but you can also find a lot of them on YouTube because some of them are just so ridiculous and so funny. It's like, why is there a couch in like the middle of the kitchen, and the kitchen isn't even functional, and there's a chair in the middle of the dining room, like blocking a TV. I don't know why a TV is in the dining room, but who knows? And so I'm probably gonna do those type of builds later, but I haven't done any yet, just because I'm trying to get through the ones that I already have. I also think this house would be really cool to renovate and kind of delete everything and freshen it up and get rid of the luxuries, just 'cause I think the base of this house is so gorgeous and so unique. And I think that would be really interesting to kind of make it your own. Anyway, so now, as I was talking about earlier, we're doing the floor plan. So I use this type of old wallpaper with like a wainscoting on it throughout the whole house, because I don't know, I always struggle with doing wallpapers throughout everything, and I feel like wallpaper is such like an old thing, and so I just kind of wanted to kind of go for it, and I don't usually make it similar through every single room in the house, except like the bathrooms, of course. But I really wanted to try something different, and it's always a good thing to do in interior design. I also use this jungle adventure flooring. This is my favorite flooring in the whole game. I put it in like this kind of gray texture, and I just think it's really pretty. I know they added a bunch of new wood swatches to the game, and I haven't looked at them yet because I just knew about the furniture update. I didn't know they actually changed some of the wood tones. But I'm really excited about that. I watched Lil Simpson's video on it the other day, and that was the thing that I was most excited for, was the different wood flooring, because I just love hardwood floors. All the houses that I ever lived in always had like carpet or that kind of like weird like fake wood that you can like wash off. It's not like natural hardwood floor. Like right now our carpet's green, and it's not that good. My mom hates it. Everybody in my house hates it, except like my brother for some reason. But anyway, as you can see upstairs, I went for a very formal look. I use these really tall doors. They're my favorite doors in the whole game. They're base game, and they're just gorgeous. They came in an update like probably a long time ago, because I've been using them for a long time. These are like my go-to doors because they're just so nice. I also used yellow light because yellow light is more common in older homes. And yellow light just makes everything a bit more golden. It makes everything more yellow toned instead of white light, which is more traditional, and it's more, I don't know, it's just more formal, I guess. I have no idea. It's definitely more modern. It's like if you're interested in the game, it's saucer lights. Those are like their base game lights, and they're really bright and they're white, and they make everything really kind of clean looking. But yellow light makes everything more golden and more kind of older and more homey. So whenever you're looking for different types of ways to make your build or to change something up, you can change the type of lighting, because it actually does change a lot more about it than you'd think. And yeah, it's also really good in interior design to kind of change lighting and things like that. You can actually go into the game with the sim, and you can make things like red light or blue light, or you can actually like do a lot of really cool things with lighting. I'm just most of the time too lazy to do them, but on the builds that I really, really love and I'm putting the extra 2 cents for, I definitely change lighting because it's just such a cool thing to do. Also, a lot of the lamps and candles in the game sometimes come at really high intensity levels, and so changing those type of things or changing the color to white light or yellow light, those type of things are really useful and impactful and can completely change the room. Also, this isn't pack restricted, so I think that the actual like hardcore shell of it is fine. But I do think that there are a lot of packs in the interior, which is in the second part. And I didn't save a part of this where it's just an empty build and then one with furniture, because I forgot to do that. So I'm sorry about that. Usually in my builds I like to upload a version to the gallery that doesn't have a lot of objects in it. It's just the exterior, so anyone can download it and furnish the interior themselves. But And then I also later on uploaded a furnished version. But for this one, I just didn't do it. And I don't know why. Because I did 2 parts, and usually when I do 2 parts, I especially remember. So I'm really sorry about that. But I don't expect people to play in this house just because the difficulty level, like I was talking about earlier. But so I'm sorry if you don't have a lot of packs. I'm sure you can download it and furnish it with amazing things from the base game. So right now I'm just putting things on the balcony, sitting tables, grills, chess tables, easels, that type of things. A lot of skill building items in The Sims 4 can be really big and kind of obnoxious. And if you're playing in a tiny house or a small family home, it can be kind of difficult to put it inside the house or inside the interior of the house. So that's like a really good tip to just kind of put it on the balcony or outside, and that's something that I really do recommend. I also put a bunch of candles everywhere, which is another kind of creepy element that I wanted to add, because it's like, since I imagine that nobody lives here, like the house is abandoned and hasn't been touched for years, it's kind of creepy, like why would the candles be lit? And so I wanted to kind of incorporate a bunch of like small details like that into the house. I also sized down all like the lights and using the bracket key. Yeah, the bracket key. And I sized everything down to make the lights really tiny so they're still light but they're not big and kind of obnoxious and hiding the build. That's a really good tip if you want to kind of make a house really bright and airy without having kind of like the chunky lights all over it. There might also be an element of why my mom thought it was not scary, because it was so bright and like pretty looking and she wanted me to make it darker. But I want you guys to be able to like see the house, and it's good for lighting. It looked really cool in the gallery thumbnail and like little things like that, that I just really enjoyed making. Now we're going to landscaping, and landscaping I did inspire a lot off of like the Goth family, which is a lot of like those kind of like weird bushes and stuff. I tried to make everything kind of overgrown and like luscious. We don't have a lot of like dead plants in the game. Like I said, that comes a lot with like vampire stuff, or like the vampire game back. But for some reason, like I don't have it, like I said earlier, and so I guess it is kind of like luscious and pretty. But I imagine like winter it would look really kind of interesting, and I don't have MC Command Center, or else I would probably make it winter or fall where everything would be just like dead. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a mod called MC Command Center where you can kind of like control a lot of things about your Sims and their lives. You can make Sims die, or you can make Sims go into labor, or make them pregnant, and you can check all these other things, how many days they have left to live. And it's a really useful mod. I just don't have it because my game doesn't really handle mods that well. But in it, you could also change the seasons, and so you can make it fall, or you can make it rainy, and maybe when I get more advanced and more people start watching and all this other stuff, then maybe I'll kind of do that thing and try to figure out a space for mods, because it's really amazing, and it's really good to do, because it's really useful for gameplay. I just haven't done it yet, but... And also, when you have MC Command Center and it's on fall, you also can't see what everything looks like when it's bright outside, which I know is kind of the point, but I don't know, it's just another element that you have to kind of consider when using the mod. I also put down these plants from Jungle Adventure, and I always thought they looked poisonous. Like, there are ones with like the red flowers, and there's ones with like Venus flytraps, and they just look kind of like really creepy. I don't know why the original owners would plant these type of plants. But I don't know, maybe they're just kind of weird people. Because, like, I don't know why you'd want to have one of those plants. Actually, yeah, I kind of do. Those plants are really cool. Like, Venus flytraps and stuff. They're really cool. I remember when I was younger, I used to watch this show called Miss Spider. And I think it's on, like, PBS Kids or something. And they had, like, an enemy that was the Venus flytrap. And, like, one time all the bugs and stuff, they would, like... go into this like field or whatever, and there'd be a bunch of them, and it'd kill them. And it wouldn't, like, it'd give the illusion that is what would happen, but still, I did not like that episode. It's a very creepy episode. I don't know. I usually don't make a lot of like seasoned inspired builds, but I just thought it would be kind of cool since this is my first year doing YouTube to kind of do things more like make a Christmas build, make a Halloween build, because it's really kind of entertaining to watch in my opinion, and I love watching people do things like that, and it's really fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. If you're still watching and made it to the end, please tell me what you're going to be for Halloween. Because I think that, I don't know, I really like Halloween. I'm not going to be anything this year. I just kind of want to like wear messy makeup. And I haven't done Halloween trick-or-treating for I think like at least 2 years now. I remember one year I watched Ghostbusters with my friends. And I think we went trick-or-treating down Main Street. But then last year I just watched horror movies, like horrible horror movies on like they're not scary, like they're like bad horror movies on Netflix with my friend. But so I don't know, like I'm gonna go trick or treating anytime soon. I think this year I'm just gonna pass out candy for the first time. But I don't know. You guys can tell me because I don't know. I love costumes. I think people can get really creative with them. I remember one time this girl showed up to school and she was Flo from Progressive, and I was like, "That's an awesome costume." And so you can get really creative, and so please tell me if you guys are still watching. Well, I don't have any screenshots for you guys, but I gotta head out, so I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. You can find it on the gallery at Life Interesting if you would like to download this build. Part 2 will be coming out really soon, and goodbye!